Today I'm bringing you guys a Stasis Warlock build. This build's not really too different from previous iterations from the last few seasons, but I thought since GMs are now officially a week away, this would be a good time to show off the build. And I don't see a lot of many people posting about it, so it'd just be a good time to upload it because this build does excel in team gameplay, and I think it's pretty strong if you're in a group for GMs or Master Roots. Solo, I was struggling a little bit. I was trying to do a Master Lost Sector to show off to you guys, but I ended up having to do a Legend because I was just struggling, honestly. It was not a fun experience solo, but in a group, I know this build excels tremendously, and in GMs it'll be great. To start off the build, our first aspect is Ice Flare Bolts. With Ice Flare Bolts, whenever you destroy a frozen target, it'll create Cold Snap Grenades that will track to several targets around the frozen target that was destroyed. So you can just keep up a frozen chain constantly with this fragment. The next fragment is Bleak Watcher, so you can charge up your grenade. If you hold down your grenade button and throw your grenade, it will turn into a turret, which will shoot slow projectiles, and after if you hit an enemy, it'll freeze them, which pairs perfectly with Ice Flare Bolts, so whenever you destroy a frozen target from Bleak Watcher, you can just freeze the entire room basically with these two aspects. They're a very strong combination, and I would recommend almost always running these on Warlock. First fragment, we have Whisper of Chains. Since we're going to be around so many frozen targets, we want the extra damage reduction from Whisper of Chains so we can survive longer. Second fragment is Whisper of Endurance, so our slow effects last longer, so it's more forgiving when we try to freeze targets and get that initial chain going. Third is Whisper of Bonds. Whisper of Bonds could honestly be replaced with another fragment. If you want, I would recommend Whisper of Refraction so you get class ability energy, or maybe Whisper of Fissures. So when you destroy a frozen target, it creates a bigger burst and deals more damage in a larger AoE. Other than that, you can use whatever you want. This is kind of the iffy mod. I'm only really running this for an exotic weapon that we are using. The fourth fragment is Whisper of Torment, so whenever we take damage we get grenade energy because the whole chain of the build is to throw turrets and we need grenade energy for that. The weapons we are using is Aegir Scepter because it's just a very, very strong trace rifle, probably the best trace rifle in the game. Wave Splitter's kind of competing, but on a stasis build you will want Aegir Scepter on because whenever you destroy a frozen target, it'll create a slow burst that will freeze targets all around that target, so this mixed with Ice Flare Bolts just freezes entire rooms. It's very, very strong. And the trait on this weapon does refill the magazine from reserve, so you can just continuously fire this trace rifle as long as you're getting kills. The whole room will be frozen and you will constantly have a full mag. Next up is our energy weapon, and this is really flexible. You can literally use whatever you want. I was thinking about using a wave GL just to clear rooms faster of frozen targets, but I did have a pulse on for the Lost Sector in this video because I have anti-barrier pulse on it, and volatile flow on the artifact does help out a lot. Heavy is also up to you, but I think Bump the Knight's probably your best option. I would recommend if you can craft this weapon, use it, because it is one of the highest damage rockets in the game and very helpful with the build for auto reloading, so you can just continue to fire a rocket at a champion and then continue to freeze them with Aegers. Aegers also has its catalyst, I forgot to mention. It's for when you have full super, you can hold your reload button and it will start draining your super, and your Aegers will deal increased damage and also will get the ability to slow and freeze targets until your super runs out. It's a very, very strong catalyst, and that's why I do have the Whisper of Bonds on, strictly for the catalyst when you need it. It's super, super helpful for killing champions and etc. You don't need it, but if you need that, if you feel like you need to freeze targets over and over like a barrier champion, it's very, very helpful and a very fun ability to use. Exotic Arms is Osmiomancy Gloves because we are using Cold Snap, so we want the second grenade charge, and it will help them regen faster. On to mods. Now, since we are using our grenades so much, we have mods targeted towards getting our grenades back, such as Innervation for whenever we pick up orbs, which is quite often because Aegers does kill a lot. Mixed with our Harmonic Siphon, you can get a ton of orbs. We do have Void Siphon on here. This mod can be replaced with any mod you choose. I have it on here because Volatile Rounds is a good enough perk to get multi-kills so we can generate orbs. These orbs are going to be giving us armor charges for our Stasis Weapon Surge, which will give us 10% extra damage on our Aegers and our Rocket over time. time dilation to increase that overtime effect to 15 seconds, and also so that we can keep our armor charges for longer, so whenever we need to throw nades, we have armor charges for the grenade kickstarts. You could take off the surge if you want, so you always have armor charges for the kickstarts, but I just like having the little bonus damage while my turrets are shooting everything, so I can clear the room a little bit faster. Since Aegers is the main part of this build, we do have Scavenger and Reserves on for it. And we do have Heavy Ammo Finder for the rocket. You could change this out for Special Ammo Finder. I found myself needing a little bit more rocket ammo, so I had Heavy Ammo Finder on, but I could see myself flipping back and forth. We also have Bolstering on, so we get class ability, because our Healing Rift is what we will be standing in while we kill everything to heal ourselves up so we don't die. Even though everything's frozen, you still can take a lot of damage from endgame activities, so you will want your Rift up almost at all times, and this really helps giving you class ability energy. We have Reaper also on, so we can get extra orbs whenever we place our Rift, and that's about it for the mods. Onto the artifact. There's nothing special in here, because it's not made for Stasis this season, but if you want to grab anything in particular, you should grab this discounted grenade energy, because it is very, very good for the build. We are using a lot of mods to get our grenade back, so this discounts all of them. It's fantastic. Everything else isn't really necessary. I have a bunch of void mods selected, like Volatile Flow, Shatter Orbs, and Beyond, Bricks from Beyond, because if you kill a powerful combatant with a void weapon, you can get a bunch of heavy for your Bump in the Night or whatever heavy you decide to run. And Volatile Flow for my void energy. But like I said, the energy is not really too specific. I would recommend running something void just because Bricks from Beyond is very, very strong. But if you want to run a wave like Forbearance or something, feel free. It won't make too much of a difference. And like I said, Anti-Barrier Pulse, because the one thing this build can't deal with very well is barriers. So that's why I had the Pulse on. All slow and frozen effects can deal with champions. Slows deal with overload, and shattering a frozen target deals with unstoppables. So these two champions are pretty much covered just because everything's frozen. Barriers are the one thing that you can't really kill reliably because they can stomp through your freeze, or they could pop their shield up randomly if they want. They're very inconsistent, so make sure you have something to compete with barrier. Whether it be a sidearm, a pulse, or whatever you prefer. Now onto the gameplay loop. We are doing a Legend Lost Sector here because Master was kind of just kicking my butt. I'm gonna be honest, this build does not really survive well in solo. It can work, but I was struggling with it personally. I prefer it in team-based gameplay, and yeah. The whole gameplay loop is very, very simple. You just chuck your turret and get kills with Aegir, and everything freezes around it. So all I did there was literally throw my turret and shoot stuff with Aegis. Next, I can use my melee to freeze this unstoppable, so I don't have to worry about my turret doing it. And I deal a little bit of damage to him before I realize I can't finish it, and then I just start killing everything else to freeze the champion with my Aegis because I killed that Scion on the stairs. I'll finish off the unstoppable, and I'll leave this room with both nades and armor charges. So, as you can see, this thing is really good at clearing rooms. Champions can be a little bit of a struggle, but that's why we had the rocket on. Only 2 little legionaries in this room, but we can kill them really quick and move on to the next. The gameplay loop, like I said before, very, very, very simple. Just hold down your grenade button, chuck your turret, and get kills with Aegis. Everything will freeze, and as long as you're quick enough, you can kill them before they unfreeze and clear whole rooms. So, throwing turret, Aegis kill, everything frozen. It's just as simple as that. As long as you are destroying frozen targets, you will be getting a lot of super energy and a lot of grenade energy. I don't use it in this Lost Sector, but don't forget, if you hold down reload with Aegis, you can just burst through enemies that have a lot of health, like the gladiators in this Lost Sector, or barrier champions. It's a very strong ability, so don't forget that you have it. Even though I didn't show gameplay, it's worth using at times. So that's about it, Guardians. I hope you guys enjoy the build. If you do end up using it, tell me what you think. If you think you can improve anything, let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs, so if you would leave a sub, I'd appreciate it. And I hope you all have a great day. See ya.